Well, what drew me to energy research, ultimately as a graduate student, I think was my interest as kind of a young child with engines and energy conversion, I guess. In high school, I started reading a lot of popular science. What was interesting at the time, it was sort of the late 90s, mid to late 90s, and fuel cells were kind of the next big thing. And I really started thinking about it. I was really interested in fuel cells in general. I got, as an undergraduate, an opportunity to do some research with a professor who was working on fuel cells, and it just kept pulling me deeper and deeper. The fellowship provides me with a new opportunity because it makes resources available that otherwise would not be. It's actually really liberating to be able to know that if I want to take this research this slightly different direction, that I can. And it's really nice to be able to get in the lab, or read some papers, get some ideas, get in the lab, try some things, see something that doesn't make sense, and go a little deeper. Just really nice having the mindset that it's okay to explore. Okay, so the objectives of the current project are to take a material we'd already been working with in the lab and to apply it to a different application. And so this particular material is it's very cheap and easy to make. We basically make very fine fibers of ceramic or metal oxide, and we can use those in a cycle with the end result of the cycle being the production of liquid fuel, and the input to the process being carbon dioxide, water, and heat. And if we use concentrated solar energy as the heat input, the process is very renewable. So you can think about it it's much like biofuel production, where a plant takes carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight and produces some biomass that we could then use as a fuel. So what we're trying to do is make some materials we can use in a process that with the inputs to the process being carbon dioxide, water, and concentrated solar energy, to achieve some high temperatures. By doing so, we have the potential ability to produce liquid fuels from sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. At the current time, the process efficiencies for processes that people have tried to implement are very low, and one of the hurdles in those processes is the efficiency of the material that they're actually using to pass through the cycle. And so the material that we're making here in the lab has the potential to be more efficient and more durable than what's currently being used. So if this material development is successful, you could envision a big field of heliostats, some mirrors that reflect sunlight, out in the desert in Arizona or Nevada, California, something like that. Somewhere with a lot of sunlight, focusing concentrating the sunlight into a tower, and we're passing this particular material through that tower to get it up to really high temperature, bring it down, combine it with water and carbon dioxide, and what will happen there is it actually will split the water into hydrogen. It will release hydrogen. The material will take on the oxygen. And if we add CO2, it will also split the CO2 And so you can release a mixture of hydrogen and carbon monoxide. And if you have a mixture of hydrogen and carbon monoxide, you can run that gas mixture into another process in order to produce liquid fuels, which could then be plugged almost directly into the existing energy infrastructure. You could imagine, rather than a gasoline tanker coming from a refinery, the gasoline tanker comes from the power tower in the desert. Well, what's interesting about the use of the concentrated solar energy is that you can get high temperatures, and you can use those high temperatures to drive processes that you would otherwise need to provide heat to. And so that's really desirable because you could get basically a carbon neutral fuel. I would really like to thank the Hendricks family for this wonderful opportunity to further my research here at the University of Maryland. It's very clear that the family emphasizes what I would consider an important area of research. I think the future of energy and energy production is going to have an extremely large impact on the United States and the globe. And I certainly hope that I can make a meaningful contribution to the scientific community, and that I can use the resources provided by the Hendricks family to further those goals. So thank you so much.